Before this episode begins, I just want to mention that there is a trigger warning for this episode. We're going to be mentioning sexual abuse or sexual assault. If anyone is struggling and needs some help, please go to the Survivors Trust or the Rape Crisis website. That's the Survivors Trust or the Rape Crisis website. Some days just feel like too much, like things are harder than usual, right? Well, you're not alone. Welcome to Rebloom, where we talk about facts and empower women. I am your host Teigan, and today I'm with Charlotte, and we're diving into the murky waters of mental health and how it impacts our everyday lives. Charlotte, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Charlotte. So I'm currently 26. I've known Teigan for around 3 years now, and I'm very happy to be on the podcast.
It's amazing to have you. Thank you for joining me, Charlotte.
Thank you
lovely
for
to have
having
you.
me.
Yeah. Okay, so Mental Health Foundation says that 1 in 5 women suffer with mental health problems. Why do you think this is?
I think there's a lot of factors. I think a lot of things can happen in people's lives. It doesn't have to just be a woman, but I mean, statistically, it is more likely to be.
So Mental Health Foundation say that women are more likely to suffer with mental health, or they have this because they have more of a caring responsibility. So this extra added stress is added pressure, whether that's like younger people or looking after older people, the stress of that and caring for someone else. So, trying to remember doctor's appointments for them and like having that extra responsibility of another person can be quite a lot for people. And yeah, can you think of anything else?
Carers and caregivers, mothers, women who are caring for family members or as jobs.
Yeah.
They are more stressed, they have more anxiety, they've got a lot of pressure put on them.
Yeah.
And they also put a lot of pressure on themselves to make sure that everything is perfect. I think women set themselves up to such a high standard that sometimes it's not reachable.
Yeah.
100%. And it causes a lot of anxiety to make yourself perfect when in reality there is nothing or no one that is perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I think women have, like you said, they put more pressure on themselves to be like this person, and I think society as well sort of expect women to be the people.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever have a problem, I find that if I have a problem, I always go to a woman.
Yes.
Because a woman is going to give me strategic answers on what to do. And I think as women, we're always thinking about the next step. We're always trying to figure out what could go wrong, what could happen. And I think as well, in terms of 1 in 5, women fear for their safety more out in public.
Definitely.
And I know, obviously, it's not safe for men either. It's just how this world is. But women have this extra fear when they go out. And, like, being from Leicester and, like, travelling around the city centre by myself, I do have that added pressure because I've got to know, like, where I'm going. I don't want to look like I'm on my phone too much. I don't want to look like a tourist. Or, I don't go out in the dark. And if I do, I'm absolutely terrified. Yeah. And just even little things like that, it all adds up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you. Another thing I wanted to talk about was hormones. These have such a massive impact on a woman's mental health.
Yes.
Especially for PMDD. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
No. So this is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And this is something that we can now diagnose, and it's known about a lot more in very recent years. So this is when you feel extremely, extremely low. And it's typically between ovulation and starting your period. It's usually this time frame, sometimes during your period as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of afterwards, you usually only have like 1 to 2 weeks, which is crazy of not feeling like this like low feeling. One thing that I did see when I was doing my research for people to help if they have PMDD is setting boundaries, which I thought was really good, and like being able to say to people like, I can't do anything for these few weeks. And I just want to know how you feel about that as like someone who has struggled with their mental health, but also like as a woman, because I think it's so hard to say, oh no, I can't do anything for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think it's all about the pressure as well again. The pressure to have a social life and to go out and to just be okay at all times when you know you're not going to be.
Yeah.
And it is difficult. I think it's so hard for women to set boundaries with their mental health because we I I feel I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like for myself especially, I am such a people pleaser. I want to make everyone okay and make sure everyone's all right before myself.
Yeah.
And with that, you are taking boundaries away because you are saying yes to things that you don't want to do instead of the setting the boundaries and saying no. I just need like time away. I need to focus on myself for a bit.
100%. Yeah, I get that. And I wanted to talk today about like your journey, and so how have you struggled with your mental health?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, 11 years, sorry, at 15, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I felt for the first few months I wasn't listened to.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of passed around or dismissed.
Oh no.
I think a lot of it was just, oh, she's 15, she's going through a lot, you know, she's recently, a few years before, started periods, so they'll be playing on her. She's at a GCSE age, you know, the school, there's all the theatrics around friendship groups and everything around schools. I was going into my GCSEs and then looking further into college. So I think people kind of just dismissed it a lot.
Yeah.
There were several doctors, several talks of therapies and medications, and it wasn't actually until about a year later I was put on my first medication.
Oh wow.
And my first lot of therapy. So I've had 3 medications and I've had 3 different therapists.
Okay.
Yeah, so the medications for me personally, they helped for a little bit and then they stopped, or they were making me worse because yes, they were fixing serotonin, but there were so many side effects that you didn't see until it was like too late. So there was a weight gain. So that to me personally, as someone who has struggled with body image before, looking in a mirror, it made me feel lower and it did make me feel worse about myself. So in one way I was like getting better, but in the other I wasn't. So it was always like a 2-step forward, 3-step back kind of thing for me.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, you were talking about the medications that you was on. Do you think that at your age, so you'd been 16, 17 at that point?
Yeah, so the first one I was on from 16 to 18, so that was a good 2 years.
Yeah. Would you say that at that age it was suitable for you to go on medication, or do you think you should have been given other interventions?
Oh, I 100% think I should have been given other interventions. Yes, 100%. I think to put synthetic serotonin into someone so young, it does mess with them a lot. And I know I was quite old to be put on an antidepressant. There are some people that are on them for, you know, younger than what I was, and I don't think that's right. Yeah, I do think there are a lot of other things that can be done before. I feel as though medications, antidepressants, antipsychotics, whatever they are, they should be used not as a last resort, but kind of we've tried everything else. Let's try you on these. Let's see how that works. Yeah, and I do feel you should be given options as well. Like for me, it was just here's this, here's your prescription, take this.
Yeah.
And it's a take this until you feel better, but sometimes you don't feel better.
No.
So you're on them a lot. Or you feel like you are getting better, you are there, you are at the time feeling so much better, and then you come off them and you just, it's straight down again. And it's hard to keep that balance in, because you don't know if it's you that's making yourself quote unquote better, or if it is the medication.
Yeah.
Because there's no hard line between the two, because you are always just on it. You don't know no different until you're off them.
Yeah, I get that. I seen a statistic recently. I didn't write it down, I should have done. But I seen a statistic that said that this year is the highest rate they've ever had of teens on antidepressants.
I believe that as well, especially in this current climate.
And I think it's crazy. And like even stuff with like, you know, therapy, the wait time.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's horrid. Yeah.
I was very lucky this time round. So I finished therapy in January. I did an 8-week course.
Congrats.
And it was saying the wait was something like 9-10 weeks, which isn't too bad. That's quite short for some therapies. And luckily for me, I did get there quicker. It was like a 3-week kind of thing. But even then, when I thought it was like 9-10 weeks, I was in such a place where I didn't know if I could get there. And so it was hard, and I can't imagine what it must be like to be a young person. It's your first bout of therapy, or whatever you want to call it. It's your first time in therapy, and you've been told you've got to wait all this time, and you don't know if you're gonna get better, you're gonna get worse, or you're just gonna stay the same. And it is so difficult, and there should be less wait times, but also there shouldn't be really any need for it. It should always be done straight away and just nipped in the bud, and no one should ever have to feel so low or just so down that they don't know where to turn, they don't know what to do. So
I get that. So what do you think the impact of you struggling with your mental health was?
I completely stopped looking after myself. I didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to eat, I didn't shower for days on end until I was like forced into it. My relationships, both with friends and family, they both suffered. I lost all social life, I lost a lot of friends. I wasn't as close to my family as I was previously, and it affects work as well, because you don't want to go, you don't want to just like go out and see people, and it's so draining. I know for me, I'd have one social interaction, then I'd like sleep for just hours and hours on end, because I did not want to just like do it again. And I would cancel social events or just not make any plans at all, because I didn't want to be outside, to do anything. For me, the person in my bed was my safe space. And it was sorry. It was, I'm safe here, I'm warm, nothing can hurt me, nothing can touch me. So it was a big impact. I didn't leave the house for so long, and every relationship I had just fractured.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we talked about the impacts, but I know we talked briefly as well on you having therapy very recently. And you was on antidepressants. What other support did you have, and what did you use?
So I eventually, when I told my mum first, because she is like my biggest supporter. And I didn't tell her for a long time. I tried to hide it, keep it a secret until it was like breaking point. So she's been amazing. My whole family, you know, they are such a support system. Friends, work was great for a time, and then I think with certain workplaces, they are supportive for a while, and then I think they think everything just magically gets better, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And they become less supportive as your journey progresses, when in reality you probably need them to be more supportive to keep you on the right track.
What do you think that support looks like in the workplace? What kind of things do you think industry and a company should do?
I think all companies should have workplace chats about mental health.
Yeah.
And have resources there for people who are struggling to search, reach out, and get the help they need. I think also, not like, I'm not going to say like daily check-ins, because that would get tedious for everyone.
Yeah.
But just like monthly check-ins, maybe seeing how everyone is, not just the person that you think struggling, but everyone. Because you don't know who is struggling in silence and not saying anything, like who's not spoke up yet.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with like high functioning depression as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got two ends of the scale really in terms of depression. You've got like low functioning, like you said, you couldn't get out of bed, like even trying to like do stuff that used to make you happy, you just couldn't do.
Yeah.
But then you've also got like this high functioning depression where like you're still going out and you're still doing what you need to do and you're still trying to put yourself out there and socialize, but you still struggle. So I definitely think that, you know, like you said, workplaces should still check in on everyone.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what someone's going through when they leave work. I think as well, having mental health first aiders at work, because, you know, we have first aid everywhere. And I think something that we're really learning about as a society is mental health is equally important. And I find it shocking how little mental health first aiders there are in workplaces and companies. Obviously, you do in the bigger companies, and you know you have people trained for certain situations like police, ambulance. They have all the training, but if you had more people trained in this stuff, you know, people would be helped a lot sooner. Yeah, that's just my thoughts anyway.
No, I completely agree. It would have been, especially with the second time I really started to get low and down, and I was on my second bout of antidepressants and therapy. It would have been a lot easier to talk to someone outside of family and friends, because you talk to family and friends, but you also, for me personally, I didn't tell them everything because I don't want people to worry about me.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's someone that's unbiased and they don't know you, I feel like, for me personally, I know it's not everyone, but I can speak more freely to them because I don't want to worry my loved ones.
Yeah. It like takes the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
And you can just put yourself out there and like it just gives you that space to talk about almost freely.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what therapy does, but you know, like you said, 9 to 10 week wait time just for, you know, like the therapy from your company that you was with.
Yeah.
And, you know, like stuff like CAMS as well. I mean, I know when, like with my experience, so after I came out about the sexual abuse that I went through, I was the same. I couldn't get out of bed and I was just crying all the time and, you know, I was just so upset and so angry and I just didn't know what to do with my life. And I ended up getting taken to the doctors and they just said, oh yeah, you have, I can't remember what type of depression they called it now. It's like something along the lines of event caused depression. So like something has triggered your depression.
Yes.
And all I got was Cam's phone number and that was it. I didn't get offered any therapy. I didn't get offered anything else. It was just like, here's a number.
Yeah. So I was also sexually assaulted at 15 by someone in my school, so I did have to see them every day as well. It was actually a teacher that noticed that there was something not quite right with me.
Yeah.
Before my mum, before, you know, anyone else, because I hid it well apart from what I thought I did.
Yeah.
I clearly didn't hide it as much as I thought I did. And it was actually a teacher who took me to the school nurse, and I kind of opened up a bit to the school nurse, and she actually sent my application off to CAMS for me. So I was very lucky in that perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am very thankful for my teacher at the time. I also feel, though, my personal experience with CAMS, it wasn't the best.
No.
I don't think, I hope they have got better for the, you know, everyone that's under their sort of like care at the minute.
Yeah.
But my experience wasn't that good with them, and I don't think that helped, because I felt that the people that should have been listening to me weren't listening to me.
Yeah. And that can make that like isolation so much worse.
Yeah.
So I definitely get what you're saying there. And I mean, we're like in our 20s now.
Yeah.
So I'm
nearly
hoping that it's different.
For some people, yeah.
So I bet they have changed a lot more. I've not really looked into CAMS much for this, but this kind of leads on to what I was going to talk about actually. So if you could give one piece of advice to anyone, what would it be?
So my advice would be, I know it's difficult to talk about and to open up and to admit sometimes that you are struggling and that you do need help. But when you are ready to reach out to, whether it just be a family member, a friend, a trusted colleague, you know, do so. And it is such a scary thing to do, but it is so worth it. And if you do find someone who you can talk to, whether it be a professional, a doctor, therapist, or just, you know, a very trusted friend, colleague, or family member, then do it. It is so scary to start off with, but it is so worth it in the end, because at the end of the day, you matter, and you've got to just take the time for yourself and make sure that you are okay more than anyone else, like, in your world, because you are your life at the end of the day. Like, you are the person who controls everything about you, and it does feel like sometimes things are out of your control, especially if you are struggling with mental health. But just that first step is one step closer to regaining the control that you think you've lost.
That's really sweet. I really like that. I want to ask you another question that I was just thought of.
Yes.
So for someone who isn't going through it, or that if someone reaches out to them saying they're struggling with depression or anxiety or just their mental health in general, what advice or what can that other person do to be supportive?
The best thing I found for me was people that listened without judgment and didn't try to say, oh yeah, I feel the same, and oh yeah, I know what you're going through, because no one knows what you're going through.
Yeah.
They could be experiencing their own version of depression, because depression, anxiety, mental health in general is not linear. It is different for every person.
Yeah.
So for someone to try and make your experiences their own, like not their own, but kind of say, oh yeah, well I've done this and I've done that, and it's easier for someone, especially now, to just listen and not judge and just be an ear. And also, don't talk about it with other people.
Yeah.
Like, if someone has confided in you, don't let it go anywhere else.
Okay.
Because that can make people worse and situations worse.
Okay. I think that's definitely something that people need to hear, especially with the statistic being so little, like 1 in 5.
Mhm.
I think it's a really good way to like try and tell people and like hear what people actually need, because some people would sort of do like what you said and be like, oh yeah, I understand because I've gone through it.
Mhm.
And I think it's good to know, especially for me, like I know I had a type of depression, but I didn't see myself as being depressed
Yeah.
in a way. And I don't think I've had it anywhere near as bad as some people have had it.
Oh, definitely.
So I think even for me to hear, to like not be like, oh yeah, it's okay, I've had it before, I get it.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely something that people need to remember, because I think it's hard for people to show empathy without trying to explain why they feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people sort of forget that, and humans are built and designed in a way where we try and help each other,
Mhm.
but sometimes it just doesn't help.
Yeah.
And I think being able to know how to talk to people and like help people in such a situation is really good. But yeah, what would you say to anyone who thinks that they might be struggling with depression but they're not 100% sure?
It's always best to reach out through the correct channels, and if you do think you are struggling, then don't hide it, don't sit with it, because it could get worse.
Yeah.
Go through the correct channels and talk to someone about it, and and just make sure that you are okay.
Yeah, definitely. And so tell us a bit more about your journey. Obviously, you said that you struggled now. How are you doing now?
I'm doing a lot better now. Um, there are still up and down days, but they're not as bad as what they were for me to seek more help professionally. And I know that feeling this way is not a guaranteed thing. Like, in a second, everything could change, and my mood, mental health, whatever you want to call it, can drop. And it is literally just like so quick. So yeah, and sometimes you can feel it, and sometimes you can't. Like, sometimes you can feel yourself, or I can feel myself getting like lower and lower and deeper into the dark mental health days. And sometimes you don't. You just wake up and you just feel really, really low, and sometimes you come out of it, and sometimes you don't for quite a while.
And what do you do on those days? Is there anything that helps?
You try and pick yourself up. Me especially, I like to try and do the things that I enjoy doing. So baking, gaming, spending time with pets or family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that would be the
Awesome.
things.
That's lovely. So I just wanted to say, if there's any listeners out there looking for support, there is the Mind Charity and there's also Young Women's Trust. So in Young Women's Trust, they have so many accessible tools. They've got so many areas to signpost to, and they're also situational. So they have stuff for like homelessness or like people struggling financially and like how that impacts their mental health. But then they also have like just mental health services. So definitely check them out if you're looking for any sort of support. Go to your doctor, go to your GP, see what help is available that they can point you to. I want to talk to you quickly about, have you heard of, so there's this thing they do in care homes, and it's to boost mood.
Okay.
So in the mornings or in hospital wards, any care setting, in the mornings, even though they know that the people aren't going to be going outside for the day, instead of keeping them in their pajamas, they will get them dressed and they will get them ready for the day.
Yeah.
And this is because it boosts your mood. And I thought that was such an amazing thing. And it's something that you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah.
And I think when you're stuck in a rut, or like when I've struggled with my mental health on days, like you said, you don't want to get out of bed.
No.
You don't want to get dressed. You don't want to go for a shower. So I think, seeing how it's implemented in the society of like, we still get people up, we still get people changed.
Yeah.
We still give people a wash. I think that's really good. It's really sweet. And yeah, I mean, I can see why it would boost mood. Can you?
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes if I do feel low in my mood, I will just sit, I'll do a bit of makeup and I'll dress how I want to for the day. And it does, even if it doesn't boost your mood, it does put a smile on your face for that, 20, 30 minutes or however long it takes you to get ready.
Yeah.
And it does put a smile on your face for that time.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it was just, I don't know, getting dressed into fresh pajamas.
Yeah.
Just the act of getting changed can help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do that when I'm having lazy days. I will change into clean pajamas like, if I'm not going out. But yeah. So thank you so much, Charlotte, for joining me. You're an incredible lady. And I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you for listening to Rebloom. If you have found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who you think might benefit. And remember that you're not alone in this journey. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves and goodbye.
Bye.